All right, everyone, welcome back. It is now week 11, Beatdown Fantasy Football League. We've got two more games after this week left in our regular season, and then the playoffs commence. But let's get right to it. Let's talk a little bit of college football. Notre Dame beat Boston College over the weekend, but the big news is they fell 2 spots in the college football playoff rankings. They're now number 6 outside looking in. Notre Dame was last week sitting in the number 4 position, set to play Clemson. But because of the strength of schedule for Notre Dame with Boston College and the fact that Iowa has run off 11 in a row and that Oklahoma had the big win, both of those teams vault past the Fighting Irish into the numbers 3 and 4 spot for the playoff rankings. Notre Dame still has a chance to qualify. They'll have to beat Stanford this coming week up in, I think it's up in Palo Alto if I'm not mistaken. On the USC side of the equation, terrible game for the Trojans. Oregon just kind of rolled past them. Oregon had 400 yards in total offense in the first half alone and ended up cruising past the Trojans. But all is not lost. They play crosstown rivals UCLA this weekend, and if USC wins, actually the winner of this game will play in the Pac-12 championship game against Stanford probably. So USC still has a chance to play in the championship game, and if they win the championship game, they go to the Rose Bowl. Woohoo! So all is not lost. But at any rate, USC has to win, and Notre Dame has to win as well. Let's take a look at our little league. Grandpa is, with his second big win in a row, solidifies his number 6 spot in the playoffs. Girard Invincibles 146-104 winners over the Swamp Donkeys. This is only Rick's 3rd loss of the season. Grandpa's now 6-5. The Smell This got a rare back-to-back win with a 129-93 winners over Back That Pass Up. Moist Men of the Mountain improves to 9-2 with a 130-113 win over Blood, Sweat, and Beer. Big Blue holding strong at 7-4 with a 132-69 win over People of Color. Jed just squeaks back past Basic White Chicks 126-121.8. And then Blue and Gold 74, Rednecks 42. Dawn has just fallen off the face of the earth, it looks like. Let's take a look at our playoff lineup right now. Sitting number 1 is Moist Man of the Mountain. Number 2 is Swamp Donkeys at 8-3. The number 3 team, also at 8-3, would be Basic White Chicks, followed by Blood, Sweat, and Beer, Big Blue, and Girard Invincibles. Number 7 is Blue and Gold, and number 8 are the Rednecks. Both of those teams sitting at 5-6 with a chance to push into the playoffs, provided Grandpa slips. But he's got 2 wins in a row, so who knows? He's playoff eligible at this point. Let's talk about our games coming up. Smell This versus Moist Men of the Mountain. It's 125-142 in favor of Moist Men of the Mountain right now. Tony Romo is back for Tyson, projected to go 40.1. Other big players for Tyson are Darren McFadden, projected to do 15. Brandon Marshall, 10. The running back West from Kansas City, projected to do 15. For Smell This, Aaron Rodgers gets against Chicago. That's a Thursday night game. They're going to retire Favre's number 4, whatever. Demarius Thomas, 9.8. Isaiah Crowell, 7.6. Giovanni Bernard, 10.53. Ashlon Jeffrey, 12.6. All of that said, Tyson's going to win this game, but I'm going to give the pick to me. Girard Invincibles, as we talked about, excuse me, what happened here? I hate when that happens. All right, let's keep going. Blood, Sweat, and Beer against Basic White Chicks is 141-122 in favor of Danny at this point. Tom Brady gets the Denver Broncos. DeAndre Hopkins against New Orleans, and DeMarco Murray against Detroit for Danny. For Alex, Alex Smith is getting the start against Buffalo. Chris Ivory is projected to go 11 against Miami. Devontae Freeman projected to go 17.4 against Minnesota. I think it looks too tough for Basic White Chicks. I'm going to give the win to Alex. Taking a look at Big Blue versus the Rednecks. Veronica at 7-4, Dawn at 5-6. This is both teams are playoff eligible at this point, so a big win for either one of them. It's 136 to 119 on paper in favor of Dawn at this point. Dawn has Drew Brees against Houston. Matt Forte listed as questionable against the Green Bay Packers, and Mark Ingram 14.2 against Houston as well. Taking a look at Big Blue, Carson Palmer, who's been on fire as of late, had a great game this past weekend against Cincinnati. 41.4 is what Palmer's projected to do against San Francisco. He should do even better than that. Jonathan Stewart, 11.4. Other big point winners projected for Veronica. I don't think Veronica's got quite enough gas this week. I'm going to give the win to the Rednecks. Taking a look at Back That Pass Up versus Third Down for What? 2-9 in Rebecca versus a 4-7 in Jed. Jed's got the white-hot Cam Newton, undefeated Cam Newton, projected to go 36 against Dallas. Julio Jones, 19 against Minnesota, is the projected. Marshawn Lynch is now listed as questionable, as is Alfred Morris. You may want to check on those, Jed, if you care. For Back That Pass Up, Russell Wilson gets a start against Pittsburgh, projected to do 34. Landry's projected to do 10.5, and Blunt, 11.9 for Rebecca. I don't think Jed's going to cover up those two positions. I'm going to give the win to Rebecca. Taking a look now at Swamp Donkeys versus the Blue and Gold. It's 124 to 107 in favor of Rick at this point. Rick is starting David Carr. Why else? Who else would you start at quarterback, Rick? Against Tennessee, he's projected to do 36.5. Des Bryant is listed as questionable, but projected to do 10.7. And Todd Gurley, who's been white hot for the St. Louis Rams, 11.8, while McCoy, 13.3 against Kansas City. On the Blue and Gold side, Jake's sticking with Matt Ryan, even though the boy is sliding. He's playing Minnesota, projected to do 43. Edelman is out. Jacob might want to get that guy taken care of. But James Starks goes against Chicago, and A.J. Green against St. Louis for the Blue and Gold. Even that, with that, it's 124 to 107 on paper in favor of Rick. I'm going to give the win to Rick. Let's take a look real quick now back at what are Girard Invincibles? We didn't get them. Girard Invincibles, week 12. They play people of color. All right. So the Girard Invincibles is 6-5. Ryan at 1-10. It's 120 to 106 in favor of Grandpa at this point. Stafford against Minnesota, 38 points. Robinson almost 12, and Adrian Peterson projected to do 15.5. For people of color, Blake Bortles gets the start again this week. Garcon is 6. Not a lot of beyond Bortles. There's nobody that's projected to do double figures for Ryan, with the exception of his St. Louis Rams defense. Aging myself there, but that's the way it is. I'm going to give the win to Grandpa. This will be his third win in a row, probably the longest winning streak in franchise history there for the Girard Invincibles. Well, that's about it. It's Tuesday night. Thursday night we've got a whole slate of games. We've got the Lions and the Cowboys playing, but the big game is going to be on Thursday night. That's Green Bay hosting the Chicago Bears, in which that number 4 is going to get his jersey retired. So it's all good. Hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. We'll see you next week. So long.